Alright, Landon, so today we are going to be talking about resurrected characters. This was requested and I thought it was actually a really good idea where we can essentially rank every resurrected character's soul trait so you lads can know what's the most useful ones, what ones do you want to see on future resurrected characters, and what characters are worth picking up sometime in the future just for the sole purpose of being a really good soul trait. So we have ranked them in order. Now this did take a while. It's a massive tier list, by the way. I will have the image in the pinned comment just so you can see it instead of, scrolling up and down the video and stuff like that. But essentially what we have gone ahead and done is got every single resurrectable character in the game, so like 200 plus characters, and put them in this tier list and rated them based on how useful they are. So at the bottom you're going to see not so useful soul traits such as, dodge and attack. Not really that good. And at the top you're going to see stuff that I use on a day-to-day basis that I feel like have the most value, and stuff that you want to see more so in the future when it comes to future resurrected characters. So if you like to enjoy these type of videos, make sure you do show support. Liking the video definitely will be appreciated. And with that said, let's just talk about this tier list. Now, just for the record, they are ranked from top to bottom, right? But in the individual tiers, right, they're not really ranked. It's not that big of a deal to say, okay, you know what, Halimo isn't better than Tag Team Ichigo. They're basically the exact same character. The only exception is the strong attack damage and recharge. Personally, when it comes to links like this, I prefer more recharge than strong attack damage. So for example, if we look at these top 3 characters here, they are the 3 better links because they are recharge 14% with like 16% strong attack damage. I much rather have a link like that than someone like Ichigo's, who's still a good soul trait, don't get me wrong, but he offers more SAD than recharge. So it's 20% strong attack damage and 10% recharge compared to 16% strong attack damage and 14% recharge. So in a sense, for this one more specifically, I have ranked them in order from, the more useful ones. 14% recharge to 16% SAD. From Rukia onwards, it's 12% recharge and 16% SAD. And when you get to this Okiura, he's 25% SAD and 10% recharge, and it just goes down. So a pretty useful links here. So let's talk about them right now. I don't want to spend too long talking about this. I already recorded this video before and it was like half an hour long. I want to mainly make this video like only 10 minutes so I don't ramble on too much. But essentially, when it comes to these links, how do you rank them? Essentially, you rank them based on how useful they are. When are you going to use them? And at the top of this entire first page, for example, are links that I use a lot. Almost every build I use, I'm going to be using one of these characters. So personally, strong attack, recharge, and full stamina is by far the best soul trait you could ask for when it comes to anything, because recharge is basically the link you always want to put on every character. Strong attack damage characters, SP characters, you always want to have as much recharge as possible because it means your strong attacks come back faster. It means you can do more damage. You have more range on your attacks. So that's why you're going to see recharge higher than something like strong attack damage, which isn't really that useful. Very rarely do you go with strong attack damage build. It's only in guild quests and epic raids where you need that extra bit of damage to warrant it. Normally in IT, IZ, point events, co-op, any content you're going against, you rather have more recharge. And in this case, this role more specifically, is giving you recharge and also full stamina. And full stamina damage, as long as you can stay at full stamina, it's affecting your soul bomb, your normal attack damage, and your strong attack damage by 16%. Very powerful links. Ichigo being the best one because he is a 14% recharge with 16% full stam. And then you have the Aaroniero, who gives more full stam but less recharge. So I don't use her all too often, but she's still a good link, offering 20% full stam and also 10% recharge. And then the other two, the Retsu and Aizen, are 12% recharge with 16% full stam. Pretty good soul trait, especially if you are using it on someone that can guarantee to stay at full stamina. It's one of the main reasons why the Senkamon Chad is basically the best link in the entire game, because he's giving you 12% recharge with 25% full stamina damage. It's a very powerful link, especially when paired with resurrected characters like this. Onto that, we have strong attack damage and strong attack recharge. Again, I personally prefer more recharge than SAD, but you can definitely make all of these links work. Useful in a lot of different content. Guild quests, Senkamon, IT, IZ, epic raids, any content you're using an SP character, use links like this, because if you're able to get the extra recharge, 36% recharge from your free soul traits that every SP character should have, if you're able to get an extra bit of strong attack damage, you might as well go for it. So these links are always going to be useful in a lot of different content, and almost every character I use is always going to have one of these few links because it's just really powerful. You're able to get that recharge that you're going to get anyway from using normal links, and at the same time you're getting an extra bit of damage output, which is always going to be very, very good. After that, we have have strong attack damage and full stamina. Now, personally, I really like these links, and I wish we'd have more of them. These are going to be more so useful in epic raids, where you want to stay at full stamina and do a lot of damage quickly. That's where these links are going to be good. At the same time, you can use them in guild quests. That's where you want to do, again, in content where you have enemies that are really tanky and you want to clear as fast as possible, regardless of your recharge. That's where these links are going to be good. So Senkamon, epic raids, and guild quests. Pair these 3 characters or one of these links with a Senka Aizen, for example, then you're going to be doing a lot of damage from that, which is why I was really excited when this Ginjo did get the link he got. You know, Sad and Full Stam, really powerful. I use these a lot for those 3 types of content. Strong Attack, Recharge, and Last Ditch Survival is pretty good, especially because all 3 characters here base soul trait is Recharge, so the Last Ditch Survival is basically an added bonus to it, and that makes it pretty good, right? Co-op content, more specifically, when I see myself dying quite a bit, and let's say you're using a 1 out of 5 character, or using a character that you know you're going to die a lot, or in just in general, you don't really know the content you're going against, you don't know the position of the mob, you don't know where they're going to spawn, and you see yourself dying a lot, wasting revive candles. Using links like this are really good because you're better off using that than a Last Ditch Survival link, right? You know, Last Ditch Survival gives you 100% chance to revive. Instead, use one of these 3 links where you're getting that standard recharge, the 12% recharge from each individual character, and also 80% to revive. So it occasionally saves you the, you know, revive candle that you would have potentially used if you didn't have this link. I use almost, when I can, I use links like this. You compare them with someone like Senkamon Ichigo, for example, where he also offers 12% recharge and 100% full stamina. So for these 3 attributes, heart, mind, and also speed, you can get 180% last ditch with 24% recharge. So pretty good right there. Normal attack damage and full stamina. This would be more useful if we had more links like this, because as of right now, there's only 1 character, that being this character right here, but it is pretty good, right? Again, normally all the time you want to, if you're using a normal attack damage character, you want to go normal attack damage build, right? Full NAD as links. So if you're able to get an extra 60% damage from that full stam, you might as well go for it, especially if you are using a character that can stay at full stamina. If I'm ever using a speed NAD character, Inheritance Trials, Senkamon, Guild Quest, for example, or Epic Raids, and I know I'm going to stay at full stamina, then I'm going to throw in this link. If we had more like this, again, I would use them quite often, and the same can be said for normal attack damage and low stamina. This is more so, again, useful in Epic Raids, Guild Quests, and also Senkamon, where you know you're going to get to low stamina. Being able to get that base normal attack damage, which is always good to begin with, and then also get a potential extra bonus when you're at low stamina, is always going to be really good. The problem with the low stam build is just that you have to waste time taking damage, so that's not really the most ideal thing. But, you know, in certain content, like, again, Epic Raids more specifically, where you're going against, like, the current Jidambo Epic Raid, where a teammate can completely mess up your build because they stand in the trap and it punishes you, then low stam isn't going to be that bad, because if you do get hit by that and don't die, then it's not ruin your full stamina damage build. So, again, these links right here are more so useful in Epic Raids, and I do see myself using these links when I can. It's just that, you know, there's not many, so I don't see myself using it all too often, but when I can, I definitely do. No attack damage and also damage reduction is also pretty good. A lot of different content would actually benefit from this. It really depends on the type of content you are going against. Now, keep in mind, some offer more NAD than DR, and some offer more DR than NAD. So, for example, Zaporo is a 25% normal attack damage soul trait and a 12% DR. So that's going to be more so useful in, you know, PvE content. But let's say, for example, using a Brave Battle character where you want more DR than normal attack damage, then Yamamoto onwards is going to be your better links, because they'll offer 16% damage reduction or 20% damage reduction with like 16% NAD. So these bottom 3 actually are 20 DR and also 60% NAD. So they're more so useful for autoing content where you need to be a bit tankier and do a little bit of extra NAD damage, or in Brave Battles. NAD and Strong Attack Recharge is actually really good, but the problem is, again, we don't have that many links like this, which really does suck, because when you're using a NAD character, a lot of them have utility on their second strong attack. Best example, someone like Owetsu. Owetsu is a character that has a boost SA2. Imagine you were able to get the 60% NAD from your usual 3 normal attack damage soul trait links, but then you could also get an extra bit of recharge, so that SA2 boost move or shield or heal, whatever the characters have, can come back a tad bit faster, because usually those cooldowns are like on a 40-second cooldown. A lot of NAD characters don't come with recharge built in, and unfortunately there aren't many links like this, so it's not ideal right now. But in the future, hypothetically, if we do get more normal attack damage and recharge soul traits, it's going to be really good for your Tokinadas, your Masakis, your Oetsus, Soifons. that have that utility SA2 where you want to do as much normal attack damage as possible, but at the same time, if you can get that SA2 to come back faster, then it's going to be a really good, soul trait combination. It already is a really good soul trait combination. The problem is there isn't that many links like this that exist to, use as a full build. Like, there's only 3 right now, and they're all in different attributes. So if you wanted to go like 3 speed links that offer NAD and also recharge, you can't do that right now, unfortunately. After that, we have the Ailment Resistance and also Strong Attack Recharge and also NAD. So these right here are more so useful in Inheritance Trials and also Guild Quests, more specifically. In Guild Quests, your 2 side lanes are going to be characters that you don't control, and a lot of the times, depending on the character you are using, they're going to be forced to get inflicted by their stat ailment unless you make them immune. So being able to get an extra bit of recharge, an extra bit of no attack damage, and make them immune to the stat ailment is going to be really powerful. I see myself using a lot of these links all the time because of how useful they are. Now, NAD and Ailment Resistance is more so useful in Guild Quests. Again, very niche, but they are really good when you can use them. And again, I do see myself using them quite a bit in that type of content. And then Recharge and Ailment Resistance is going to be good when you're going in IT and you want to you don't need to be immune with the stat ailment in IT because you're controlling your character. You can just avoid the pulls, for example. But if I'm trying to stay at full stamina and there's, burn pulls and stuff like that, and my character isn't immune to burn, a lot of times I'll just give them the bonus ability and also throw on a link, for example, just to give myself that immunity. So best case scenario, let's say there are weakening pulls in Inheritance Trials and I don't want to get weakened, then I'll throw it, and I'm using a tech character, I'll throw on this Halley Bow, get that 14% recharge, and basically be immune to weakening. So these are useful links. It just depends on the content you're going against if you want to make use of them. Personally, again, I see myself using these quite a bit. After that, these are the more like niche soul traits. I don't want to spend too much time on them, but we'll talk about them briefly real quick. So essentially, Crystal and Jewels, obviously you're going to be using them for the main soul trait. The Kisuke's, the Captain and Christmas one, their base soul trait is the reason why you are using them. The Crystal and Jewel drop rate, right? The Strong Attack Recharge, sure, is nice, but it's good, but again, you're not really using it for the Strong Attack Recharge. You're using the character for the Crystal and Jewel drop rate, which is why, it was hard to rank them because technically they're different, right? A lot of these here are utility and damage, for example, but this is just strictly for farming, and a lot of times you don't even use it on your main character. So it's a good soul trait, it's whatever, but again, you're using it just to farm crystals and jewels. The Omaida definitely is the better one though, because he does have crystal and jewel plus coin drop rate. So if you want to farm coins, crystals and jewels at the same time, Omaida is going to be a pretty good link. Strong Attack Recharge and Stam Recovery, again, pretty useful, more so in carp content. Unfortunately, stuff like Guild Quest and also Epic Rage, you can't really take use of Stam Recovery links because there's waves, there's not rooms. But again, pretty useful depending on the content you are going against. Personally, I prefer characters like these lot here that give more recharge, 12% recharge, for example, and less Stam Recovery than using someone like this Retsu, who offers more recovery, 25% Stam Recovery, but less recharge at 10%. Personally, I don't like getting less recharge. I like more recharge. So 12% and 16% stam recovery is good enough, especially if I'm using a character that wants to stay at full stamina, but has no ways to have, inbuilt healing. So again, this is actually pretty good. Maybe this one should be higher, but it really comes down to if you need to stay at full stamina and if your character has no built-in ways to stay at full stamina. DR and Last Ditch can be good for altering content, more so carb content, Brave Battle, that's where you're going to mainly be using these. Normal attack damage and stam recovery, unfortunately, only one of these links do exist. They are pretty good, but there isn't that many to, actually use alongside with the Zapro. Again, useful if you're trying to auto. If you want that extra bit of NAD and stam recovery, definitely good. You might as well use this instead of using like just normal NAD links. So really comes down to you. Normal attack damage and Last Ditch Survival, again, useful if you're in Epic Raids, for example, using him in Guild Quest and you want to get that extra bit of NAD, but you're going to die, then, throw that link on. It's not too bad. Strong Attack Recharge and DR, again, is kind of gimmicky right now. For the most part, these two links right here offer more recharge and less DR, while these two here offer more DR and less recharge. Personally, I prefer these two because I like to have more recharge than the second effect. But in this case, it's like you're mainly using them just to get the Strong Attack Recharge, and the DR is kind of just there. So it's not really that good, but if we get more links like this, it's not going to be too bad, right? If you see yourself taking too much damage, then you might as well throw into it. It's not too bad. Just to get extra bit of recharge can always be useful. But personally, I just don't see myself using it that much. I'd rather just go with, full stam damage and recharge, or recharge and sad, then, go with recharge and DR, for example. But it's a pretty unique effect for the most part that I can see myself using it sometime in the future. Strong attack damage and last ditch survival, not that useful. A lot of times you want to have more recharge than sad, so the only time I see myself using a link like this, Kyan, for example, who's 25% sad and 80% last ditch, is in Brave battles because I'm using Aizen. Other than that, I've never used Kenny, and other than, that situation, I've never used Kyan too, so not really that useful. Strong attack damage and ill resistance is also pretty good, very similar to these two, but the problem is I don't ever really go sad in element resistance, so it's not really that useful for the most part. But again, you can make it work depending on the build you're going in guild quests. IT, for example. Do keep in mind, I didn't mention what status element they are resistant to, for example. That would have added unnecessary rows to the list, so I didn't really want to do it, but you can search for yourself. For the most part, these are like recharge and burn, recharge and freeze, recharge and poison, I believe, recharge and weakening. No, this is recharge and weakening, recharge and paralysis. It really just depends on the character you're working on. I recommend looking that up on BBS Simulator or the album yourself. Other than that, full stamina star recovery, pretty nice, but again, no inbuilt recharge, which really does suck. For the most part, when it comes to these 4 links, you are using them for their main soul trait, which is the full stamina, and the stamina recovery is just like a nice little added bonus. But a lot of times, you're just using it for the main soul trait, and when I do use these links, more so these 3, it's in, again, epic raids and also guild quests, where I don't really benefit from the extra bit of recharge, so not the biggest fan of those second soul traits, but it can be useful. But if you ever need, full stam and a way to stay at full stamina. Last ditch and low stamina, pretty good, because if you are going with that low stam build and then you do die, at least you have that 80% chance to revive and stay at low stamina. Damage reduction and stamina recovery, more useful for autoing carp content if you need that extra bit of DR and also stamina recovery. Not too bad, can be somewhat useful. Normal attack damage and sad, so strong attack damage is... It can be good in the future, but right now there is like basically no hybrid characters that do exist that can really benefit from this unless you like really force it, which isn't ideal. Normally you just want to either go full nads and full recharge, so it's not that great of a link. But again, in the future, if we ever get characters with like, Frenzy and Flurry, these could be useful links, especially if we get more of them. But as of right now, I very rarely ever see myself using them. Stamina recovery and L resistance can be useful, but again, you'd rather have DR, recharge, strong attack damage than whatever these offer, so don't see myself using it all too much. Damage reduction and also status element resistance, again, depending on the content, can be useful. This is more so going to be good in Brave battles. Sad and stun recovery, again, no built-in recharge, so I don't really use these links. And then after that, it's just not good links, right? You have DR and dodge, not that good. The problem with this is that when going with a DR build, more so in Brave battles, you want as much DR as possible. But the problem is, these characters, their base soul trait is dodge. So instead of giving you 16% DR or 20% DR, they're giving you 12% DR. And it's only a 4% difference, but it really does make a difference that it's not really worth bringing links like these unless you have them transcended. Nad and dodge, not that useful. Strong attack, recharge, and dodge, not that useful. Again, same problem. If their base soul trait was recharge, and then they gave the extra dodge, that would be okay because the dodge is kind of a bonus. But by using links like this, you're losing recharge, right? It's 10% recharge instead of the usual 12. So I don't really ever use links like this. Same goes for sad. Nad and attack you would think is useful, but again, problem once more is that their base soul trait is attack stat increase, which isn't that good to begin with. So their second soul trait is no attack damage, but it's a low increase. So it's 16% instead of 20%. So I'd rather just use a 20% Nad's soul trait than a 16% and like extra 100 attack, which doesn't even make it that much of a difference. Recharge and attack even is not even that good. If it was recharge and SP and their base soul trait was recharged, then maybe, but attack, even though attack does help you do more damage on your strong attacks, it's not really that noticeable. And again, I'd rather just bring a normal recharge soul trait or a recharge and strong attack damage or recharge and full stam over recharge and attack increase. Element resistance, so double is not even that useful because the problem with these two links is that they don't give 4 immunities. If it was 4 immunities, it would be great. In one device's case, he is a 100% fire resistant, which is great. You can be completely immune to fire, but his second soul trait is, I believe, weakening, which when I'm using one device, which I do use one device, just do understand that one device is a good soul trait. The 100% immunity to fire is great, but I don't really ever get a benefit from the second, the weakening, so it's not even that good. He's the exception. He's the one you use, but mainly for his base soul trait, not the second one. DR and stamina, not that good. Again, you would think it is good, but because his base soul trait was stamina, it means the DR is lower than usual. It's 12%, so it's not that useful. Dodge and last ditch, not useful. DR and attack, again, not useful because their base soul traits were attack, so you're getting less DR. And then dodge and elm resistance, never use them. So With that said, lads, that was the video for today. Breaking down the resurrections, you know, letting you lads know what characters get what. So I will link this down in the pinned comment in case you want to see the image and you don't have to scroll through the entire video. And of course, I did rank them from most useful and best in my opinion. So this entire page are basically links that I use almost all the time, and they're the ones in the future when we get resurrected characters that I want to see. I know a lot of people are disappointed with Strong Attack Recharge and Elm Resistance, but trust me, even though there's a bunch here, we need more of these, in my opinion. There isn't that many combinations, and being able to be immune to a certain stat element and also have recharge is really good, and I see myself using almost all of these links here quite a bit. So, with that said, hope you lads did enjoy this video. I'll be streaming later today, so hope to see you lads there. Take care, and peace.